Okay, it is that time. I am about to endeavor on quite the journey. I am going to be starting the Throne of Glass series, if you can tell by the case. I've heard it's literally the best fantasy series out there, so I'm really excited. My expectations are super duper high, and I've already read ACOTAR by Sarah J Maas a couple years ago, and I loved that series, so I really hope I love this one as well. And yeah, I will kind of take you guys through my thoughts as I read all 8 books, which is quite intimidating. That's a very long series if you ask me, but we will see how quickly I get through this, and I'll share my thoughts along the way. Okay, I'm about 150 pages into Throne of Glass, and honestly, so far I'm enjoying it a lot. We get introduced to Celaena at the start, and she's an assassin, and we don't get too much of her backstory as that's kind of an Assassin's Blade. And for any of you wondering, I am planning to read Assassin's Blade 3rd and just follow the publication order. However, I know lots of people recommend it being read first so that you're in chronological order, and honestly, I've heard both being a good way to start it, and I feel like it's just personal preference, so I'm just going with my gut, and I'm going to be reading that 3rd. So yeah, starting with the first 150 pages, it's honestly been really good. It starts as a typical fantasy. Nothing too crazy has happened yet. The trials have kind of just started, so we're just kind of getting into the excitement of this book. The first little bit of a fantasy is always a little bit boring in my opinion, but this one has kept me reading, so yeah. That's my thoughts so far. I am enjoying it, but I'm not like loving it yet per se. So I will keep you posted as I finish the first book. Okay, I finished Throne of Glass last night, and this book was awesome. I am so happy to be reading fantasy again. It is great to be in another world developed by Sarah J Maas. So this book starts with Celaena, who is an assassin, and she is brought to a castle in Adarlan to vie for the king's champion spot. So basically, she has to do like tests and duels with other soldiers, murderers, thieves, that kind of thing, to vie for that one position. And in doing so, she is kind of trying to fight for her freedom, because if not, she's going to be sent back where she came from, and that's not a good place. So we are following Celaena in this castle for the entirety of this story, and I personally am so glad that Sarah J Maas chose to leave us in that one setting for the entirety of this book, because there's just a lot happening. I mean, you know, with fantasies, there's always a lot of world development, new characters being introduced. We're trying to figure out the magic system, all that kind of stuff. So being stuck in the castle was really good for this first book, and I'm happy that she chose to do that. And as for the other characters, I really like Dorian and Chaol and Nehemia, and I feel like there's a little bit of a love triangle possibly going on. So there's 2 love interests for Celaena, and I love them both as characters. There's a clear right choice for Celaena. Like, there's just one male interest that makes more sense for her. They just seem to mesh together, and it just makes more sense in my opinion. So I'm really hoping she ends up with that character and not the other one, even though I love them both. And yeah, we're also kind of trying to uncover the evil that's kind of lurking in the castle as well. Celaena is trying to figure out what's going on with that, and we are slowly introduced to the magic system. So to me, there was a lot going on, but not too much that it was confusing at any point. And the introduction of characters, it was really easy to keep track of who was who. Like, it wasn't confusing at all. So I feel like it's a very easy fantasy book to step into. My only critique about this book was, for series, I really enjoy when the first book ends in a cliffhanger, because that just makes you want to pick up the second book. And unfortunately, this book did not end in a cliffhanger. Like, it was so intense throughout this book. It just kept getting more intense. And I thought, okay, for sure there's going to be a cliffhanger. And unfortunately, there was not. So the reason I'm giving this book 4.5 stars, not 5 stars, is because it didn't make me immediately want to grab the second book. But yeah, 4.5 stars for this book. I really enjoyed it. And I've actually already started Queen of Shadows. So I will be updating you guys with that one next. All right, I have started Crown of Midnight, which is the second book in Throne of Glass, and I'm loving this book. The first chapter was so gripping to read, and it just had me kind of on the edge of my seat. So right off the bat, this book starts off strong, and it's not too high stakes right now, but there's a lot of politics and a lot of things going on that Celaena is trying to uncover and figure out, and she's trying to do her job as the King's champion as well. So that's kind of what we're following right now. And then, yeah, I just finished chapter 17. It was so cute. It was the cutest chapter. So I don't know if you guys heard before, but in Throne of Glass, it kind of felt like there was a love triangle. And I briefly mentioned that there is one male love interest that I prefer Celaena to end up with over the other. And chapter 17 had the cutest little romantic moment between her and that character. And I'm so excited. Like, I feel like their relationship is going to start blossoming soon. So I really, really hope that they do end up together and kind of talk about their feelings, because neither of them is really communicating to each other about those unspoken feelings. So I'm really hoping that happens. And then I'm really hoping that this book kind of picks up the pace and that things start happening. I kind of hope it gets a little bit more intense. So yeah, I'm going to keep reading, but chapter 17 is so, so cute, and I cannot wait to finish this book. Okay, I just finished Crown of Midnight, and I finished this book this morning. This book was so good. Automatic 5 stars, 6 stars if I could. It was so, so good. The first, I want to say, like maybe 200 pages of this book felt a little bit slow to me. I was wondering when we were going to get action. I was wondering when things were going to start picking up. And then all of a sudden, something crazy happened. I literally started crying because I felt so distraught about the whole event that was happening and just everything that was changing so quickly. And from there, that one thing was a domino effect for the rest of this book. Like, I quite literally tried to read as fast as humanly possible for the last 200 and something pages of this book to figure out what the heck was happening, what was going on. There were so many reveals in this book. We find out so much in this book, and there is a lot of action and politics packed into like the last half of this book. I literally had my jaw on the floor so many times. I was gasping. I literally gasped out loud when things happened. I could not read fast enough to finish this book, and it was just so good. I wish I could give some more insight and spoil it, but I won't. This is spoiler free. Throne of Glass was good, but this is the book that would make me convince people to read the series. Like, this book alone is worth it. So throughout this book, there was a lot of things kind of revealed about Celaena and her past, and I really felt that I wanted to know about her past before she showed up at the castle and before she was a slave in the salt mines. So that is actually a really good segue to start the Assassin's Blade, in my opinion. I am now dying to know her backstory, and I'm really excited to dive into this book and find out what's happening. I feel like Crown of Midnight there was a little bit of a cliffhanger, but it wasn't anything so intense that I feel like I have to pick up Heir of Fire. I feel okay taking a pause to go back into the past and read about Celaena. So I actually like the way this book ended, to give readers the opportunity to go to Assassin's Blade next. So I'm actually very happy about the reading order that I've decided to go with. And yeah, this book was just amazing, and I wish I could say more. There was just so much action going on and so many reveals. The magic system built up in like an insane amount in this book. We learn so much about the world that they are in and just the history behind it and all that. So yeah, this book is phenomenal. Like 5 stars, 6 stars if I could. So yeah, I will start Assassin's Blade soon and let you know my thoughts on that one. Okay, so I finished The Assassin's Blade a couple days ago, and for those who don't know, this is technically the prequel to Throne of Glass. So some people choose to read this first, some people choose to read this third, and then I know a couple people read it second or fourth. I chose to read this book third, and I'm actually quite happy about that because reading this, Celaena, our main character, is very unlikable to me. She was super arrogant and cocky. Like, she was just not a likable character. There was no humbleness at all. So for me, I don't know if I would have enjoyed reading this because she was just a little bit rough around the edges. And for those who don't know, this is actually split into 5 separate novellas. So you can read one, take a break, and then go into another story. So it's not just one giant prequel. Starting with The Assassin and the Pirate Lord, which is our first novella. I actually really like this novella. It was a little bit short. I gave it 4 stars. It was super enjoyable, really action-packed to get us started. It was in a different location, which was fun. And her relationship with Sam really develops in this prequel. She really becomes friends with him. They kind of start off as enemies, and as they kind of go throughout this story, they have to work together and their friendship really develops. So I actually really liked reading about that and seeing the softer side of Celaena that she doesn't really give off in the rest of this book. And then we move on to The Assassin and the Healer, which is the next novella. I gave this one 3 stars. It was also very short. I honestly felt it was super boring. I don't really think it was necessary unless for some reason we see the healer later on in the other books. Like, to me, it wasn't that interesting. There was a little bit of action, and we're following Celaena on a journey to the next location for the next novella. Moving on to The Assassin and the Desert. This novella was definitely the best in my opinion. It made the most sense. There was so much action, and in Throne of Glass, we hear a lot about Celaena's training in the Red Desert with the Silent Assassin. So it was really nice to read about that and her story there. There was so much action, and she develops friendships and relationships while she's in the Red Desert, and there was a little bit of a plot twist that I did not see coming. So that actually shocked me quite a bit, that so much happened in such a short period of time, and it actually kind of had my jaw on the floor. So this one was super good, kept me on the edge of my seat. Moving on to The Assassin and the Underworld. This is the 4th novella. I gave this one 3.5 stars. Like, it was good. We kind of find out who Arobin truly is. His character really reveals itself in this novella. It shows his really dark side and just what he is willing to do to put himself on the map and make sure he's the #1. So seeing how he is and how he treats Celaena really kind of made me feel for her and just solidified my hatred for Arobin. So yeah, it was good, not amazing though. And then the last novella that we read was The Assassin and the Empire. This is 4 stars. This is the last novella in this prequel. This did have a lot of action. However, there's a big tragedy that does strike at the end of this book in this novella, and a lot of people said it made them cry. They were sobbing. For me, because I knew what happened, because I chose to read Throne of Glass first, it didn't make me as upset. However, the little hints that we get in Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight about Celaena's past relationship, I'll give a PSA here, with Sam, I kind of expected their relationship to be longer than it was. I expected it to kind of develop over years, but they kind of got together rather quickly. Like, the first novella, they're just friends finally. So to me, it kind of felt like in Throne of Glass, Celaena's reflecting on a relationship that she thought was deeper than it read. To me, it didn't read like their relationship was all that deep. Sam seems like he loves Celaena more than Celaena loves Sam. So it felt a little bit disjointed for me and unbalanced. So yeah, overall, it was a little bit quick and shallow. I knew what was coming, so it didn't hit me and I didn't cry. It was still good. And after reading The Assassin's Blade third, I would say I'm glad I read it third because, like I said, Celaena's quite annoying to read about in this book, and I think it would have turned me off reading Throne of Glass. So yeah, it depends what your preference is. That's it. So overall, this book, I would probably give 4 stars. It was good. It was really enjoyable, some of the novellas. Some of them I felt were a little bit unnecessary. So yeah, that's it. Okay, I have started Heir of Fire 2 days ago now. This is, I guess, the 3rd book in the Throne of Glass series. And I'm only 100 pages in, so I don't have too many thoughts right now. But so far, I'm slightly underwhelmed by the lack of action happening in this book. The way Crown of Midnight ends had my jaw on the floor. Like I said earlier, I was speed reading the last half of that book. It was so good. So this book kind of takes like a very slow start in my opinion, and we're getting a perspective that I'm not sure like why we're getting it at this point. We are just hearing some random chapters about this individual and who they are and kind of where they're at, and it's disjointed from any of the other characters we've been introduced to. So I'm not sure yet the importance of that, but I'm sure it will come eventually. Lots of politics are going on, but yeah, I am really hoping this book gets a little bit faster paced right now. It just feels a little bit slow, and this book is almost 600 pages, so I'm really hoping it picks up by the time I get like 200 pages in. Yeah, that's it so far. Okay, I have finished Heir of Fire. I actually finished this a couple days ago, and my rating for this book is going to be 4 stars. I actually enjoyed this book. However, I felt part 1, the pacing was very slow, and the way that Crown of Midnight ends, I was just ready for more. So the fact that most of this book was extremely slow and a lot of build up and a lot of backstory and explanation kind of frustrated me. And we get these random snippets of this new character that has no ties to any of our characters so far in this book. And during those random chapters, at first I was not a fan of that because I didn't care. But there was a build up throughout this book, and the end scene with that character, it was actually fairly good. And I am excited to see where that leads and how this character is going to act upon meeting perhaps some of the other characters that we already know in the story. So yeah, that was interesting. And as for Celaena's story, she is no longer in the castle at this point. She is off somewhere else. I'm not going to say where. So we get introduced to a couple new characters due to that, and I felt that her story was quite slow, and although I like a lot of the new characters introduced, her interactions with some of them, I'm not sure what to think of that at this point. I'm very interested to see how that will affect the rest of the story and the rest of her relationships. So that was interesting. I felt like there was a lot of just explanation and a lot of like kind of backstory and building up, and then when we did finally get the action, it happened rather quickly. Like something that happened with Celaena, that happened within like 2 chapters. So that was a little bit disappointing. The thing with that new character, that happened within 1 chapter. And then we do get to see like Chaol and Dorian's side of the story as well. And there was a lot of action with them near the end of this book as well. I kind of guessed one of the plot twists. So for me, that was a little bit unfortunate. But something did happen that I didn't see coming. So yeah, I am very interested to see how Queen of Shadows is. And I will say that we do get to learn more about the magic system of this world. And we get to see like how dark the King of Adarlan really is, and what exactly is going on, and how he's controlling, you know, the continent, and how he's able to conquer so easily. So I did like the reveal and just how intimate we were able to get with that. It was quite surprising to me, and I actually really liked this magic system. So yeah, I am very excited to get into Queen of Shadows because, like I said, I feel like this was just the groundwork for what's coming, and I think Queen of Shadows is just gonna hit. So yeah, 4 stars for this book, and I cannot wait to get on to the next one.